Okay, it's Jen, and with a very quick, short, spoiler-free review of The Toll by Shusterman. Overall, this book was crazy. I really enjoyed the second book a lot, except for that ending, though, and everyone who has read the book knows what I'm talking about when I talk about that ending. That was a very intense ending for that book. So The Toll is huge. It's over 600 pages. So that's intimidating. Plus, with the way the second one ended, this one made me a little bit nervous going into it. But I will say it is a very fun read. It is very much a you can't put this down read. I definitely recommend picking it up on a weekend when you can block out a lot of time for it, because it's that good. It's not something where you want to go ahead and put it down and come back to it. It's a book you really want to read as quickly as possible. So I enjoyed reading it. It came in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday because I pre-ordered it, and I will never make that mistake again. From now on, I'm going to go ahead and get myself out of bed, go out and deal with the people, and go get the book in person so that I have it right away in the morning, because waiting for this book, it's been such a long wait, it feels, for this book. And so yes, I should have just gone out first thing in the morning and purchased it as soon as it was available. I would have been a lot happier with that. So goodness. The pacing in this, it starts out a little bit slow, but it's trying to kind of like remind you of everything that's happened already, and then it's just nonstop from there. And it's like the other books where the little trivia things you think don't matter, where you're kind of skimming it, end up being important later, and everything's tied together, and it's just, craziness. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to read. I stopped at Books A Million today. I had 2 job interviews in the last 2 days, which slowed me down on reading this, because I really wanted to read this, immediately. But I had to be a grown-up and adult and do those things like go to job interviews, so that's what I did. But to reward myself for being a grown-up and going to the job interview, I stopped at Books A Million, so that I could talk books with other book people. And we were talking about how much fun juvenile fiction is to read and how much fun YA fiction is to read. And then the girl behind the counter pipes up that, yes, except the book she's currently reading. And I'm like, is it The Toll? Yes, it was. So someone else there then piped in and said, so what would you compare it to? What's it like? And I couldn't think of any other series that I could compare it to, because it's just so distinctive. It is sort of, I guess dystopian, because while it's attained sort of a utopian-esque society, it's still got these dark undertones going on. So I guess dystopian fits. Yeah. Anyhow. So I couldn't think of anything to compare it to. The only thing I could think of to compare it to is, see, I'm old enough to have read Hunger Games when it first came out. So I remember reading Hunger Games and thinking, wow, this is the craziest thing I've ever read. I'd read The Giver, which is kind of like a precursor to books like The Hunger Games, but I hadn't read anything like The Hunger Games. So even though this is, not like The Hunger Games, I would say it's like the experience of reading your first novel that's like that, it's so, it's that same sort of genre, but the way it handles itself, it's just so different from anything else that I definitely recommend the series as a whole. The ending of this, I don't want to give anything away, but I will say that the ending was good for the series. Okay, because I don't want to give away any spoilers. If I say it was wonderful and you're going to love it, then you'll know what I mean, and then that will ruin it for you. Or if I say it's terrible, then you'll know, So I will say that the ending is satisfying and fits the rest of the series. So yeah. So yeah, it's not quite the sob fest that the ending of book 2 is, but it's not a perfect ending either. It's just a very wonderful book. So if you haven't read the series, read the series. If you've read the second book, then you're probably already excited to read this one, and you don't need me to tell you to read it. If you haven't read the second one yet, what are you waiting for? This series was crazy. I didn't buy the first 2. I checked the first 2 out from the library, because I never trust a series till it ends, because, come on, some of them have tricked me, so I don't do that anymore. But I will say I was very satisfied with everything about this series. There's nothing I would change. It was wonderful. So yeah, I guess I'm buying a box set. Hooray! So if you stuck through the review all the way to here, you're probably already reading Toll too, and you already know what's wonderful. Anyways, until next time.